Hello everyone and welcome along to this electrically charged exciting episode of Kaz Racing. So, Mr. Poldermans himself would head to the Home of Champions Genk in Belgium for his first internationally FIA CIK recognised competition, the opening round of the 2023 Rotax Max Challenge EuroTrophy season being held in the Limburg region. Project E20 was the focus of this weekend as he was ably assisted by Ellis Spieza, the electric renegade, as driver, coach and mechanic. Kaz would compete in the Project E20 Masters class under the race number 803, with 3 heats taking place over the course of the Saturday to determine the ranking after the heats for finals day on Sunday. Some final well wishes as the grid made its way onto the start-finish line, ready for heat number 1 out of 3. Kaz would start from the back of the grid due to his inexperience on this chassis, but also inexperience in this kind of competition. But as the lights went out for heat number 1, he'd get an absolutely brilliant launch off the line and pull alongside and pass round the outside Rainer Born from Germany, as the field made its way around this 1,360 metre circuit. Kaz would definitely get to understand the nuances of the kart, and in his first race would finish a very credible 4th position in the class behind Hector Ramirez, Andreas Matis and Rainer Born in the Masters classification. After that it was time to talk strategy, fettle with the kart, tune the setup, adjust the tyre pressures as accordingly, with the Mojo D5s being those used in dry weather conditions. With the kart charged up and ready to go racing, it was time for Ellis and Kaz to head back out onto the dummy grid ahead of heat number 2. The grandstand's full for everyone to see, including the Mats Johan Overhoff fan club. Kaz was getting down to the nitty gritty, steeling himself and getting ready for race number 2. Once again, another great launch as he catapulted away from the line from a standing start and even tried to go round the outside of Hector Ramirez, but managed to get the jump on the Chilean through turn number 3, an excellently executed move, putting the Dutchman P2. But the battle would not be over quite yet for Kaz Poldermans, as Hector Ramirez tried everything in his playbook to try and get past the 803 from the Netherlands. One attempt didn't go to plan for the Chilean, but on the next lap he struck whilst the iron was hot and managed to get through, demoting Kaz down to P3. But nevertheless, the racecraft from Mr. Poldermans was clear and evident for everyone to see. And at the end of his second heat, Kaz would go one better and finish 3rd place, whilst Hector Ramirez would find himself at the foul of scrutineering, having got a front fairing penalty, dropping him down to 4th, with Matis and Born rounding out the top 2. As the birds were chirping in the air, it was time for heat number 3 for Kaz. Once again, as per qualifying dictating the grid, he would start from the back of the Senior Masters classification. So the 3rd heat would get underway, and straight away another great launch, and he tried to put it up the inside of Andreas Matis and even went for the race lead, which he got on turn number 2, launching it past all 3 other competitors and getting himself into the sharp end of the grid. But his experience, or his inexperience thereof, would be showcased just one lap later, as Ramirez would go up the inside of Kaz. Kaz would then run wide going through into turn 2, and that allowed Andreas Matis to take the lead. Kaz would drop all the way to 4th. Nevertheless, still great progression, battling once again with Hector Ramirez as they were side by side going down the famed Europalan at over 110 km an hour into the braking zone. Ramirez outbraked himself, allowing Kaz to get back through for P3. However, it was not meant to be for Kaz, as he would finish 4th, as things would conclude on Heats Day. And then it was time to chill out in the evening, talking strategy and racecraft with Ellis Spieza, who's also a Project E20 race winner in his own right, both in the DEKM and Project E20 in the EuroTrophy. However, Sunday would see a significant shift in climatic conditions, as rain would have fallen on the track. As the pre-final got going, Kaz got another great start, as he would go round the outside of Reina Born and Hector Ramirez, with the Chilean ending up spinning going into the approach into turn number 2. Andreas Matis would pull away from Kaz in the meantime, who was embroiled in a really good battle with Germany's Reina Born. However, it would be Kaz's best result of the weekend so far, picking up 2nd place behind Andreas Matis, putting him on the front row for the final itself. More changes were afoot, as Ellis was making sure that every bolt and nut was tightened to its absolute maximum. Tyre pressures being adjusted once again on the Mojo W5 wet weather tyres, as it is customary with the final that the drivers and their karts are paraded out of the dummy grid and onto the start-finish straight. What an opportunity here for Kaz to start from the front row of the grid alongside a very experienced driver, but Andreas Matis would suffer technical dramas and would have to opt to go for the slick Mojo D5 tyres and start from the back end of the grid. Kaz there discussing with Ellis Spieza about tactics going into the final, because Ellis knows what it takes to win on these Project E20s. Andreas Matis would be held as the lights went out for the final time here on Sunday, as Reina Born would initially get the jump on Kaz to take the race lead going into turns 1 and 2. The slippery conditions are a very different animal. As you can see there, Kaz was completely sideways, applying the throttle coming out of turn number 2. However, Kaz would then take the race lead and start to pull away from those behind, including Reina Born and Hector Ramirez. But Andreas Matis on those dry Mojo D5 tyres would find the track come to him, as the circuit evolved over the course of the race to see a significant dry line showing. This meant that the W5s were going to be burning up quite significantly as the race progressed. There was a good little battle that Kaz was having with Emma Svensson in the 741 from the senior classification, and he managed to get past her and even was trying to put the frighteners on the likes of Mats-Johan Overhoff and even Taze Damso. But Kaz would end up 2nd after it all being said and done, finishing behind eventual race winner Andreas Matis. So there you go, a podium in his first international competition. Well done, Kaz.
But ladies and gentlemen, your E20 Senior Masters podium. Give them a round of applause.
That's how you round out your first international competition, getting 2nd place on the podium. That's it for us here on Kaz Racing, and until the next electrically charged adventure, keep it fully lit. We'll see you very soon on the next one. Goodbye for now.